For the next part of Access Project 4, we're going to create a form using the Form Wizard, similar to how we create a report using the Report Wizard. Now, to do this, I'm going to click on the Customer table on the left, go to Create, and I'm going to use the Form Wizard. Now, on the Form Wizard, a couple items to keep in mind is on the top, it tells you which table we're going to be using. Since I selected Customer, it should be in there, but if it's not, make sure you have that set to Customer table. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put in the fields we want to be in our form. So I'm going to put, and if you put these in the wrong order, it's nothing too urgent because I'll show you how to fix that later. So I'm going to put customer number, name, skip those others, type. Okay, and this should look similar to what's on 449. Okay, so you add your fields. You should basically have all the fields but street, city, state, and postal code. Go next. On this step, we'll keep it as they suggest, the columnar layout. And then on the last, we need to give this a name. So I'm going to call it Customer Financial Form. And this is what the form looks like. Now, if you're not familiar with forms, at the bottom you have some buttons that let you click through each of the fields, each of the records, and it will show in the respective fields what data comes from the customer table. So that's how that's laid out. What we need to do is modify this a little bit. And to modify it, I'm going to go under View and go to Layout View. With Layout View selected, it looks similar to the other view, but this actually lets us modify some things. I'm going to click under the Arrange tab. This next part's a little tricky, but I'm going to hold down my Shift key, and I'm going to select the fields and their respective labels. And once all of them are selected, still with Arrange being selected, click on Stacked, and that will arrange it in that manner. That lets us do a few odds and a few ends. So next thing I'm going to do is click back on the Design tab and go to Add Date and Time. I don't want to include the time, but I do want the date to be added, and I want to change the format. Sure, I do the way the book does. They use this format, and again, this is on figure 4-56. And it puts the date clear up there. Now you can move this wherever you want. They suggest moving it a little bit. I'm going to move it about right there. And something else you can do is under Format is you can make that bold. You can actually do a number of things. You want to change the color of it. I wouldn't suggest going too crazy, but you can change the appearance of that and format it. So what else can we do in this view? Well, I mentioned a minute ago, if you get the items in the wrong order, it can be moved. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. I'm looking at figure 4-60 on page 240. And if you want to change the order, like for example, you can actually change the order, add and remove fields in this manner. They have a say customer type and resources needed. So I'm going to use my Shift key again to select these items. And this is a little tricky, but if you try it a couple times, you'll get it. You need to have your mouse right over top of the area you want to move and drag these to the bottom, and it should plop in down there. Now I have this field here I don't want. I'm going to actually delete that. I can say delete row, and that cleans it up. I don't know why I had an extra field in there I didn't need. So you can move these as you wish. So just to do it again, to do it, you highlight with your Shift, and you have to make sure that you don't enlarge it. That will enlarge it. Move around the edge and pull it down or push it up, depending on where you want to go. What we need to do next is under Design, I'm going to have my Add Fields window open, and I need to actually add a field to our form. I'm going to add the city field. So I'm going to hit City, double click, and it'll actually put it right where my cursor was, which is in that location. But now that we know how to move it, we can actually move it, and they want us to move it below customer name. So it should be in that configuration. And that's our form. I'm going to close this, make sure it's saved. Open that back up just to look at it. Now the book mentions in the next part how to do some filtering. Take a moment and go through and check out how to do the filtering. Not required for the project, but still, a useful tool anyway. So I'm going to stop at this point, and we'll continue with the next part.